Hey guys, Tina here and welcome to my January book haul. Now these are not the books that I talked about in my January plans, so you can expect to see those in February, but these are actually the books that I acquired throughout December and they were trickling in, and I've decided that it's time that I sort of haul them because it's been annoying me. They were sitting in a pile here and doing nothing, so I just, I want to put them on my shelves, and yeah, I have to haul them anyways. But yeah, so the first few books I've already read, and I will be linking the wrap-ups up here so you can go check them out, so I won't be too long-winded about these books in this video. But the first of those already read books is A Vengeance Road by Erin Bowman. This is a young adult historical fiction novel that takes place in the Wild West. During the gold rush, we meet Kate. She's living with her father on this small spread. They have a house and basically nothing else. And one day she returns home to find her father murdered and her home burned to the ground, and she decides to go after the people that did it. And she's a very determined girl. She's, she has her goal in mind and she doesn't see anything else, and she's sort of almost bloodthirsty in a way, and it was an enjoyable read, and I am potentially going to read the sequel, which is Retribution Rails, I think, and I'm not sure. I think it's a companion, not a direct sequel, so yeah, but it was enjoyable and I did like it. The next book that I have here is Nevermore by Jessica Townsend. This is book one in the Nevermore series. I think there's altogether going to be 9 books, 3 have been bought, so who knows. And it's a middle grade series, and it tells the story of Morgan Crow. She is this young girl, and she's a cursed child. She has been born into this world where cursed childs exist, and basically she's blamed for everything that happens. Your neighbor breaks a leg, it's her fault. Something doesn't go right politically, it's her fault. And she's also cursed because she is supposed to die on her 11th birthday. And just before that happens, this man called Jupiter North arrives and whisks her away to Nevermore, which is this magical city, and she stays there with him in his hotel, which is crazily fantastic. And in order for her to actually be able to stay in Nevermore, she has to go through these trials in order to enter the, some society? No, I can't remember. Wondrous Society, right? And yeah, she goes through those trials, and it's really adventurous, whimsical, just magical. I loved the world, I love the crazy characters, and they are comparing it to Harry Potter. I don't think it's there, but potentially it does have potential, and I'm really looking forward to the sequel because I really enjoyed this one. The next book that I have is The Cruel Prince by Holly Black. This is book one in her new trilogy, and it's a very popular book right now. I got it as an ARC and I already read it, so I did want a finished copy of it. And it tells the story of these 3 sisters. As small kids, they witness their parents' murder, and the man that kills their parents actually takes them away and takes them to the fairy, and they are raised there in his household, and basically with the royalty or aristocratic elements of the fairy court, and they're all sort of deal with the situation in their own ways, and mostly we follow Jude. She wants to be part of the fae community, the fae world, and that's very hard to do because despite the fact that they were raised there and they were sort of accepted, they are sort of, despite that, they're shunned and made feel that they are less than the Fae because they're humans, and she has a very tough road ahead of her if she wants to basically become the part of their society and be a respected member of their society. And there's a lot of intrigue and plotting and just craziness, and actually I have to say that none of the characters are likable. They're all assholes, more or less. They're cruel, vicious, mean, just nothing nice. But despite it, it was a really great read. I have never read a book quite like this about fairies. You do see them in books, but they were never quite portrayed like this. And of course, Holly Black is the queen of the Fae. So yeah, I really enjoyed it, and I'm really looking forward to book 2. Of course, that's a year away, so it's quite a wait. Then I have the books that I have not read yet, and the first of those is The War of Art: Break Through the Blocks and Win Your Inner Creative Battles, which was written by Steven Pressfield. So this is a non-fiction book, and I have a Slovene translation of it, and This is actually about how to stop procrastinating and why we avoid actually being artistic or writing or whatever. It's also, I think, it can be applied to businesses and other things. The preface was written by Robert McKee, who is the author of the story. Those of you who are into writing or film are probably familiar with that book. But yeah, I hopefully will be reading it soon, definitely not in January because it's quite packed. February, maybe the later half, I'm not sure. And hopefully before March, but ideally February. I just, I have to read those arcs that I talked about in like half of my videos by now, so yeah. Then I have A Study in Charlotte by Brittany Cavallaro. So this is sort of about Sherlock's and Dr. Watson's descendants. Sorry for my dog making all that noise. And yeah, I have heard people talk about these books, but I never paid that close attention to them, so I don't know what this is about. But it's, of course, in general, I know it's a murder mystery, and I have heard good things. I mean, people seem to like them, so I decided to get them because lately I am in sort of murder mystery mood, and yeah, it sounded like fun. So again, I will be getting to it. I already started actually chapter 1, and I liked it, but then I felt guilty for starting it because I have, those arcs, and I put it down. So yeah, just life. Then I have 3 books that I'm really looking forward to, and I hope that February will be the month when I will be able to read them. And the first of those is The Bear and the Nightingale by Catherine Arden, which is book 1 in her, I think it's a Winter Nights trilogy or something like that. And it tells the story of Vasya, and I'm just gonna read it there because it's gonna be better than anything I come up with. And it says this: in a village at the edge of the wilderness of northern Russia, where the winds blow cold and the snow falls many months of the year, an elderly servant tells stories of sorcery, folklore, and the Winter King to the children of the family, tales of old magic frowned upon by the church. But for the young, wild Vasya, these are far more than just stories. She alone can see the house spirits that guard her home and sense the growing forces of dark magic in the woods. It's a very popular book, and I'm really looking forward to it. Well, not just because it's popular, but it sounds fantastic, and I love this cover. Beautiful, and it's, again, that soft one that I love to touch, and then, again, if you touch it, of course, you leave fingerprints on it, so... yeah, it's never right. Then the next book that I have here is The Song of Achilles by Madeline Miller, another very popular one. It tells the story of Achilles and Patroclus, or something like that. I'm not sure how you pronounce it in English. But yeah, apparently it's about them. I have actually, I'm not sure whether or not this is based on myths as such, because I don't remember. I did not read myths, the Greek myths myself, because I had Latin when I was in elementary school, and our teacher would read them to us, and I actually don't remember whether or not Achilles actually ever was with a guy. I know he was obsessed with this woman, wasn't he? I sort of remember that, but yeah, anyways, it doesn't matter. The story is apparently fantastic, and I want to read it, and now I have the book, so I can do that. The next book that I have is one that I did not see mentioned a lot here on BookTube, but I did actually find it on Facebook of all places, and it's That Inevitable Victorian Thing by E.K. Johnston, and it's an alternate history type of book in which the British Empire did not crumble but is actually thriving. There's a lot of diversity, a lot of acceptance. The population apparently is a little more accepting, and there's also genetical matchmaking. So it sounds interesting, and I'm really looking forward to reading this one. The last book that I actually got in December, and it's making its way to me, so you will see a picture here, is The Iron Gold by Piers Brown, which is book 4 in his Red Rising saga. So officially, apparently this is turning into a saga. This is the beginning of the new trilogy, which is set some 10 or so years after the first trilogy. I cannot tell you whether or not you have to read the first trilogy in order to continue on with this book. I would say that probably, because it's the direct continuation of the events that took place in the Red Rising trilogy, and you should read that one anyways if you are into sci-fi, or actually, just give it a try, in my opinion, and see whether or not it's for you, because a lot of people that don't actually like sci-fi or space or anything like that seem to like it. So anyways, the Red Rising trilogy, it's about our society. Society has conquered our solar system and it's become really diverse. Basically, the humanity is sort of put into these different classes, and Dara, who is our protagonist, is in the lower one, which is called red because they're color coded, and he's basically a laborer, just a physical worker, not very intelligent, because actually genetic engineering plays a lot of importance in his books, and you can basically be altered. And anyways, so the reds are the lowest, and he decides to actually fight the system, and we see how he does that throughout the series. And I'm really looking forward to this new one because well, I really liked the first trilogy, and I want to see what goes on now, how things are, how people are. Supposedly, I think that we're going to meet some of the old cast here as well. And I will be buddy reading this with Haley, of course, because we did buddy read the whole Red Rising trilogy. So yeah, we're both of us looking forward to this next installment, and I actually cannot wait to get it. But yeah, guys, those are all the bugs that I acquired during December, and I hope you enjoyed this video. And see you in my next one. Bye.